Hello, and welcome to the 2022 Southeast Collaborative Online Learning Conference. My name is Lauren Clossy, and I will be your host for this session entitled Let the Story Come, Storytelling Tips for Library Professionals, presented by John Light, Jr. This event is supported through funding from the Library Services and Technology Act through the Institute of Museum and Library Services. Please feel free to ask questions or make comments in the chat or interact with other attendees and the speaker within the Whova app for this presentation. And now I'd like to introduce our speaker, John Light, Jr. Thank you for being with us.
All right. How y'all doing? My name is John Light Jr. I'm a youth librarian at Islands Library here in Savannah, Georgia. We are a part of the Live Oak Public Library System. And so welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time it is going to be when you watch this video, but I'm glad that you came and that you chose to watch this workshop, and I hope you enjoy it. So again, the workshop is called Let the Story Come, Storytelling Tips for Library Professionals. And what I'm going to do, because of course, if I'm going to talk to you about storytelling tips, of course, I am going to tell you a story. So I'm going to tell you a story, and this story is the first story that I learned in my journey to become a storyteller. And as I thought about the story and I thought about that journey, I found some tips that you could pull out from that experience that I think you'll be able to see, appreciate, and enjoy and use in your profession, no matter whether you're a youth librarian or adult librarian. These tips will help you in your journey as your journey of being a librarian. So the story that I'm going to tell is a story called The Hungry Old Lady. Okay, The Hungry Old Lady. And apparently a lot of my stories have old ladies in them. I don't know what that means, but I think they're my favorite story protagonists. So it's called The Hungry Old Lady. Now, if you were with me in person, I would have you do a call and response. Matter of fact, since I just brought it up, we're going to do a call and response. So you will do it at home or wherever you are. And I just know that you will be hearing and listening, and you'll be responding when I call out. So the call and response that I normally do goes like this. I say, repeat after me, EA, and then you will say EA. I don't think you said it that time, but you'll say it the next time. So repeat after me, EA, good job. EIA, EIO, EII, then again, EA, EIA, EIO, EII, you add some clapping to it, EA, EIA, EIO, EII. One more time. EA, EIA, EIO, EII. Good job. Good job. Good job. I heard you. Y'all were with me. Y'all were with me. Now be quiet. Be quiet. I gotta find that story. I know it's there. All right. The Hungry Old Lady. Once upon a time, there was a hungry old lady. And this hungry old lady, she lived at the bottom of a hill. And this hungry old lady, she had a son, and her son grew up and he went off and he got married, and him and her new daughter, they moved to the top of the hill where she lived. Now her new daughter was a wonderful cook, She could make anything you could dream about. And one thing that the hungry old lady really loved to eat, or really loved to enjoy, was pumpkin soup. Yes, she loved pumpkin soup. So one morning, the hungry old lady, she woke up, she got up, she sat on the side of the bed, and she was, what was she? What do you think she was? She was hungry. Yes, she was hungry. And so she went to her kitchen, and she looked in the refrigerator, and she looked in the cupboards, but they were bare. They were empty. So she said, oh man, I'm so hungry. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do about this? But then she looked out the window and she looked and she could see up the hill. She could see her son's house and her daughter's house. And she said, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to my daughter's house. I'm gonna see what she's made for the day. I know she has some wonderful food to eat. So she put on her clothes, she put on a little overcoat, she got her walking stick and she held it up high in the air. She brought it down to the ground, boom. And she started out on her journey up the hill. So she left the house, she got to the top, she got to the bottom of the hill. And so now she's an old lady, okay? And a hungry old lady at that. And so she needs some encouragement. She needs a push to get up this hill. Okay, this hill is kind of steep. So when she walked up the hill, she always sang this song. And the song goes like this. A ricky ticky tick, a ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. Okay, y'all got that? I'm gonna say it again for you. A ricky ticky tick, a ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. Now, here's another opportunity for you to help me. I need y'all to say that with me as we go up the hill, as the hungry old lady goes up the hill. I need y'all to say that with me. Can y'all do that for me? Are you sure? Did somebody shake their head no? I need you to do it. Okay, thank you. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right, here we go. So hold your stick up in the air, hold it up in the air. All right, bring it down to the ground. Boom, here we go. A ricky ticky tick, a ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. A ricky ticky tick, a ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. Again, a ricky ticky tick, a ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. Now, when she was walking up the hill, she ran into this animal. This animal had gray fur and a long nose and sharp teeth. And the animal said, oh, what animal was that? Which one was it? Yes, it was the wolf. Yes, you're correct. It was the wolf. And the wolf saw the old lady. The wolf said, hello, old lady. You look mighty good today. You look good enough to eat. I think I'm going to have you for lunch. But the hungry old lady said, oh, silly wolfie, wolfie, you don't want to eat me. I'm all skin and bones. But I'm going to my daughter's house. I'm going to eat lots of food. And when I come back, I'm going to be big and fat. And then you can eat me. And the wolf thought about that. He said, oh, that does sound a lot better. All right, well, you can go ahead and go. And so the old lady said bye to the wolfie. The old lady said, bye, wolfie, wolfie. So y'all say bye to the wolfie for me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Bye, wolfie, wolfie. Good job. All right, get your walking stick. Get your walking stick. Hold it up in the air. Break it down. Boom. Here we go. A ricky ticky tick. A ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. A ricky ticky tick. A ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. Again, a ricky ticky tick. A ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. And she ran into another animal. This one was big and brown with huge paws and said, oh. What animal was that? Which one was that? The bear. That's right, the bear. The bear. Good job, Richland. Good job, Richland County. I heard that one. Good job. It was the bear. And the bear looked down on the old lady and said, hello, old lady. Oh, you look mighty good today. You look good enough to eat. I think I'm going to have you for lunch. But the old lady looked at the bear and said, oh, silly berry bear. You don't want to eat me. I'm all skin and bones. But I'm going to my daughter's house. I'm gonna eat lots of food, and when I come back, I'm gonna be big and fat, and then you can eat me. And the bear thought about it. That does sound good. Okay, you can go. And so the old lady said bye to the bear. She said, bye, Berry. Say bye to the bear, everybody. Bye, Berry. Good job. All right, get your walking stick, walking stick. Here we go. Bring it down. Boom. Let's go. A ricky ticky tick, a ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. A ricky ticky tick. I don't know if I hear everybody. Ricky ticky tick. Help me out. Here I come on my walking stick. Good job, a ricky ticky tick. A ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. Now she ran into this other animal. This animal was huge, was ferocious, had orange fur with black stripes and long whiskers and a big old mouth. Said, "Rawr!" What animal was that? What animal was that? The tiger. Yes, it was the tiger. And the tiger prowled around the old lady and said, hello, old lady. Oh, you look mighty good today. You look good enough to eat. I think I'm gonna have you for lunch. But what did the old lady say? What did the old lady do? The old lady said what? Oh, silly tigey. You don't want to eat me. Why? Why not? Why does the tiger want to eat? That's right, because she's all skin and bones. But where is she going? Where is she going? Yes, to her daughter's house. And when she gets there, what is she going to do? She's gonna eat lots of food. And when she finishes, when she comes back, she's gonna be what? Yes, big and fat, and then you can eat me. And the tiger thought about it. The tiger said, that does sound mighty good. Okay, well, you can go ahead and go. And so the old lady said what? What did the old lady say? Bye, tigey. So say bye to the tiger. Bye, tigey. Good job. All right, get your walking stick one more time. Walking stick, hold it up. Bring it down. Boom, here we go. A ricky ticky tick. A ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. A ricky ticky tick. A ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. Last time, a ricky ticky tick, almost there. Ricky ticky tick. Here I come on my walking stick. And she got to the house and she knocked on the door. Oh, and her daughter answered the door, saying, oh, Mom, how are you doing? What's up? How could I help you? Come on in. And the mom said, oh, baby, I'm so hungry. I woke up so hungry today. Do you have anything to eat? And she said, oh, Mother, of course I have food to eat. I have lots of food to eat. All kinds of food. What are some of your favorite foods? What are some of your favorite foods? Call it out. Let's see. Let me see if I can hear it. Oh, somebody said pizza. Oh, yeah, she had pizza. Oh, yeah, she ate the pizza. What else? Somebody said ice cream. What kind of ice cream? Strawberry ice cream. Yeah, chocolate ice cream. Oh, Mr. John, I love lemon custard ice cream. Oh, the lemon ice cream. So she ate the ice cream up. What else? What else did she have? Somebody said macaroni and cheese. Oh, she had macaroni and cheese. I'm talking about the baked macaroni and cheese, not the Kraft in the box. They baked it and it was all gooey. And the cheese was all intermingled inside, like on top and inside. And so she got her a big old spoonful of macaroni and cheese and she ate it. What else? What else? Chicken. Yes, they had chicken. They had fried chicken. They had baked chicken. Had chicken and dumplings. Had chicken pot pie. She had all kinds of chicken, and she tasted and ate all of the chicken. What else? Oh, who likes pie? Yes, she had apple pie. Yes, she had apple pie. She cut herself a slice of apple pie. But you know what I like? Oh, Mr. John loves peach cobbler. Oh my goodness, they had peach cobbler. Oh, she ate up the peach cobbler. Oh, it was so delicious. And then finally, Finally, she had her bowl of pumpkin soup and she sat there. Mmm, mmm, that was so good. And she finished that pumpkin soup up. And then she sat down and she sat back. And what was she? What do you think she was? Yes, she was big. And what else? She was fat. Yes, and what else though? Let's see who gets it. Let's see who gets it. Yes, she was tired. Yes, yes, she was tired. And she said, "Ooh, baby, oh, thank you for the food. It was so delicious, but mama is tired now. I think I'm gonna go back to the house." And so she started to go towards the door, but then she remembered something. What did she remember? Yes, those animals were still waiting for her. They were waiting for her. She said, oh, daughter, I forgot. I was coming up here and I ran into these animals and they wanted to eat me. And I told them that when I come back, I would be big and fat and then they could eat me. How am I going to get back home?" And the daughter said, She looked around. She looked around the house and she just so happened to have a huge hollowed out pumpkin, probably from all that pumpkin soup that she makes. And she said, "Mother, you know what? If you climb into this pumpkin, I can put the top on and I can roll you down the hill." And the mother thought about it for a second, just a second. She said, "You know what? I think that'll work." And so she climbed into the pumpkin. She squatted down. She pulled in her walking stick. Her daughter put the top on and sealed it up tight and rolled into the door, which happened to be a big door. If you have a huge pumpkin, it had to be a large door. She rolled into the door. She said, "All right, mother, it was nice seeing you, and I will see you again." And she pushed her down the hill. Yes, she pushed her down the hill. Now, this is how she went down the hill. So put your arms up like this. Put your arms up like this. All right. So she started off real slow. She went down like this. She went down. "Here I come. Here I come. In my pumpkin. Here I come." A little faster. "Here I come. Here I come. In my pumpkin, here I come." Then even fast. "Here I come. Here I come. In my pumpkin, here I come." Boom! Wow! And she ran into who? Who did she run into? Who did she roll into? That's right, the tiger. The tiger. And the tiger said, "Oh, what is this?" The tiger walked around. Tiger said, "It looks like a pumpkin. Looks like a pumpkin, but mm, it smells like an old lady." But the old lady in the pumpkin said, "Oh no, there are no old ladies here, just a pumpkin rolling home." And the tiger, he wasn't that smart. So the tiger said, "Okay," and got behind the pumpkin and boom, pushed it down the hill. All right, arms up. You ready? Slow at first. "Here I come. Here I come. In my pumpkin, here I come." A little faster. "Here I come. Here I come. In my pumpkin, here I come." Real fast. "Here I come. Here I come. In my pumpkin, here I come." Boom! Roar! She ran into who? Yes, she ran into the bear. That's right, she ran into the bear. And the bear stalked around the pumpkin. "What is this? What is this?" It's a really huge pumpkin, but It smells like an old lady. But again, the old lady said, oh no, there are no old ladies here, just a pumpkin rolling home. And the bear, he looked at it, he couldn't see anything else wrong with it. So he said, okay, and he pushed it down the hill. All right, arms up, here we go. Here I come. Here I come. In my pumpkin, here I come. A little faster. Here I come. Here I come. In my pumpkin, here I come. Real fast. Here I come. Here I come. In my pumpkin, here I come. Boom! Oh! Who was the last one? Who was the last one that she rolled into? That's right, the wolf. The wolf. And the wolf looked at the pumpkin. What is this big pumpkin doing here? And then the wolf smelled it. This pumpkin smells like an old lady. But once again, our old lady said, oh no, there are no old ladies here, just a pumpkin rolling home. But the wolf had the long nose. Remember the long mouth, the long nose, and the wolf kept, it was just so overpowering. And the wolf started to claw at the pumpkin, clawing at the pumpkin until the top of the pumpkin came off. And the wolf saw the old lady inside, and he said, "Rawr!" And the drool came down from his mouth. He was ready to eat. But guess what? Guess what? What did the old lady still have with her? Yes, the old lady still had her walking stick. And so the old lady took the walking stick and popped out and said, boom, and hit the wolf inside the head. And then she jumped out of the pumpkin and ran the rest of the way home. And she lived happily ever after. Did y'all like that? Did y'all like that story? I hope you did. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked it. Again, that was the first story that I learned. And so let me tell you how I learned it and what happened. So what happened, I was working in youth services at Potomac Community Library in Woodbridge, Virginia. If anybody in Virginia is watching, hey, what's up, Potomac, Prince William County? I was working in youth services, and so a part of my job was to do story times, preschool story time, baby story time, toddler story times. And I was new to it, and so I would find books and do the story times, and sometimes the stories would work, and sometimes they didn't work. And I learned that you had to have certain books, for certain age range and things of that nature. But as I was doing that, and I was loving it, I was enjoying myself, had a good time, love story time. I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice if I could tell a story without having the book? Because I feel like a lot of times the children would look at the book, and if the book wasn't interesting enough, or if the book was too long, they would kind of lose interest, and then they start to crawl around and get into other things. So I said, if I could tell a story without the book, where I can look them in their eyes and engage their imagination, like that would be great. That would be awesome. And so I thought about that, and I started reading. I started going online and looking for different, stories, folk tales, fairy tales. I went, to the 300 section, and I found, folk tales and different story books. And I was reading books, but I still couldn't really kind of like figure out how I was going to do it. So then I went to YouTube. And I searched on YouTube. I just put in like storyteller. I scrolled, and then I found this storyteller. Her name is Jan Blake. Jan Blake. She's a storyteller. She's based in Manchester, England. Her parents are from Africa, and they moved to Manchester And so she was born in Manchester, but she still had, the roots and the culture that her parents possessed. And she has a story of her own on how she became a storyteller, but she was telling these stories. And I was just like captivated. I was captivated. I was like, oh, these are so good. And she just, it was so effortless for her. And so she would just tell the story and she would hold your attention. And so, I said, okay, like I really want to be able to tell these stories. Now, what's awesome about technology and social media is I was able to find Miss Blake. I was able to find Jan on Facebook. And so I said, you know what? I have these questions. I don't know how to do everything. I have these questions. I'm gonna send her a message. I'm gonna see if she answers. And so I sent like a message, saying like who I am, what I do. I enjoy her work. And she responded. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, oh my god, like she responded. And so I would ask her questions and I was getting her insight into, how to be a storyteller. I was getting her insight so much that she had to cut me off. Otherwise, she was going to have to send me an invoice to pay for the information that she was given. But I appreciate everything that she's done. That's why I always call her name out anytime I do storytelling events or if I do a workshop like this. I always call out Jan Blake. Check her out on YouTube and on her website. You will not be sorry that you did. You'll enjoy yourself. But one thing that I asked Jan about storytelling, I said, how do you remember these stories? Like, how do you learn these stories? These stories seem like they're so, it's not like you're telling like a 5-minute story. Like these are like 20-minute stories and she's just walking you through the story. I was like, how do you do that? And she gave me this piece of information that kind of like really changed how I looked at storytelling and really changed how I looked at things that I do in life and with my, my own occupation. She told me, she said, you do not have to memorize a story that you love. Do y'all hear that? You don't have to memorize something that you love. That kind of is like, it makes me think of like your favorite song. Your favorite songs and you love them, you hear them and you can just, you can hear one note and you can just know that that's your song playing and you can just start singing the song and you can start dancing away. When you love something, you don't have to memorize it. And she says she only tells stories that she loves and that's it. And so I said, okay, I took that information and, I love all her stories. I love all her stories and I listened to all her stories a number of times. But there was one story that stuck with me. And it was that story that I just told. It was the hungry old lady. I listened to the story and I would hear myself singing a Ricky Ticky Tick, a Ricky Ticky Tick. Here I come on my walking stick out. That song was stuck in my head. The interaction that with the audience, I could see that happening with the children. And so one morning I was waking up. When you wake up in the morning, like there's a moment when you wake up, but you're not up, you're not getting up, but you wake up, you're conscious. I was in that state, and I could hear myself remembering the story. I could hear myself remembering and walking through the different parts and the different scenes of the story and the dialogue. I said, oh my goodness, like I think I can do this. Like I think I can tell this story. So what I did for the next couple of days is I would like watch the video and then I said, okay, now try to tell the story. And then when I got to a part where I kind of forgot, I go back and say, okay, how did she do it? And then I go back and I continue on until I got to the end. And then when I drove to work in the morning, I had about a 15-minute commute. When I drove to work, I would try to tell myself the story on my way to work. And I practiced that way. I practiced telling the story, trying to get to the story, trying to find my way through the story. And then finally, it got to a point where I was able to tell the story from beginning to end. And I felt confident, like I knew how to get to the end from the beginning. And I said, okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try it out. I'm going to try it out at story time one day. I'm going to see if I can get through this story. And so it was preschool story time one day. And I said, hey, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to tell you a story. I hope you like it. And I told the story. I made it from beginning to end, and just seeing the looks in the children's eyes and the adults' eyes, their parents, like they were all like fixed on me, and they were listening and hanging on, they were engaged. And that just like that visual and that feeling is just like it's stuck with me. And so I was like, oh man, I made it to the end and they loved the story. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I told a story. Like I told a story. Like, okay, well now I have to learn more stories. But that's how I learned that story. And in that process, there are things that help you that I can pull out for you that you may have already seen them. And if you're looking at the handout that I uploaded, you probably already see a lot of stuff where I'm going. But there are parts of that you can pick out that will help you to be a good storyteller or a good speaker or just a great librarian, a great employee. There are things that you can pull out of there that can help you to be a better person. So we go back and look at how I learned the story. The first thing I said was what? I wanted to do something different. I wanted to increase my skills. I wanted to be better. I wanted to do better. I had a desire to be better. And so if you are here and you're listening to this course or any of the other courses that's being provided by Southeast Collaborative Conference, then you have a desire to be better. So you already have that part. You already have that part. Now, if you find out that maybe you don't have that desire, you just happen to be here, but you really don't have the desire to be better at what it is you do, there's something that later on that helps address that we can take a look at. But I had a desire to be better. And that's the thing that you got to do. You got to have a desire to be better because it shows that you care about what you're doing. The second thing that I did was I found a mentor. Now this is really hard for me. I'm the type of person, and probably I'm sure a lot of you are probably like me as well, where I struggle to ask for help. And I don't know if it's because, if you ask for help, then it kind of like makes it real. And now somebody else knows what you're thinking and they're going to be encouraging you. And like, is this something I really want to do right now? I don't know. So let me just keep it to myself. But I looked for help. I searched and I found someone that is already where I wanted to be. So I found a mentor. And so that's another thing that you want to do is when you figure out where you want to be, find someone that's already there that can help you to walk the paths. And when you get to a point where you're scared or you're afraid and you don't know, you can bounce those questions off of them. You can ask them those questions. Well, how did you do this? I asked her, how can you remember that? Because that was my first thing. Well, I want to be a storyteller, but I can't remember these long stories. These are long, extravagant stories. How can I remember those stories? And I asked, and I'm thinking, the answer was going to be something complex and something easy where I can say, oh, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. Oh, well. And the answer was only tell stories that you love. And it was put to me in a way that it resonated with me. And so it wasn't like I could just say, oh, I don't know, I can't do this. I can't answer this problem. The formula is too complex for me. It was no. If it's something you love, then you can tell the story. So back to the desire to be better. When you want to be better, it's because you love what you're doing. And so if you don't love what you're doing, you need to find out what is it that I love? What are the things that I like? And that's not to say you need to change positions necessarily from where you are, but you need to find out what are the things that you like to do in your position where you are. What are the things that you like to do? What are the things that you love? and you focus on those things. Don't try to step out and to do things that you don't necessarily know about. Or if it is something that you don't know about, add a piece of you to it so that you can relate to it. You have some relation. Okay, so you want to love what you're doing. Do things that you love. So if you tell stories that you love, and you may only find one story that you love, but hey, if you know how to tell one story, you're still a storyteller. You know, if you tell that one story to different schools or different people, you know, it's still the first time they've heard that story. So you don't even have to know a bunch of stories, okay? But you want to do things that you love. So that's the thing, second thing that she told me. Now, the third thing that happened is I practice. I listened to the story. I spent time listening to the story. I spent time practicing the story, listening, practice. I spent time, I gave my time to the craft. And it didn't take much time really, because you know, the story's about 15, 20, 25 minutes. You know, you can do these type of things at home while you're in the shower. You can do them from, you know, on your way to work, on your way back from work, on your lunch break. It's just all about taking your time, taking some time to practice, because you have to practice and you have to see if you can get there. You have to see if you can make it from beginning to end. A lot of things about telling a story is finding your way from beginning to end. And you don't have to find your way like Mr. John found his way, or like Jan finds her way. Like, it's all about you. It becomes your story when you start to put your twists and your turns in it. You put yourself in it. What do you see? Like, so even with this, what color was the hungry old lady's coat to you? What color was her coat? For me, her coat, or her kind of like shawl thing that I'm thinking about when she put her coat on, her coat was blue. Her coat was blue. And so that's how I could see her. I put myself in the scene, I could see her, and then that helped me to walk her up that hill. So when you're telling a story, all you have to do is get yourself from beginning to end. However, you need to do that. You don't have to try to be like anyone else. You're just trying to get yourself from beginning to end. So after you practice, then you have to try. You have to do it. And you know, again, that was kind of scary for me too, because it's like, what if I fail? What if I fail in front of these parents and these children? But you know what? The best people to tell a story or to try something in front of are children. And it's on my paper here, on the paper that I uploaded. I say children are the perfect people, the perfect audience for practicing storytelling, because all they want is attention. That's all children want. They don't need you to be perfect. They don't need you to get the story right. You don't necessarily have to be funny when you tell the story. You don't have to be super sad, or, you know, you don't have to do any of those things. All the children need is attention, okay? And so that part there, that realization can help you to, you know, pull away and strip away any fears that you may have when you're telling a story. And once you get in front of a group, whether it's children or adults, although I say start with children first, but when you get in front of them and you tell that story from beginning to end, it changes you. You have become a storyteller. You have learned to command an audience, to captivate an audience, and it just changes your outlook. So I don't know if you can imagine, I certainly can imagine. I do not, or did not, like speaking in public at all. At all. When I was in college, I went to Old Dominion University, and it was public speaking, and it was intro to human communication. Public speaking was not an option for me. Intro to human communication. I'm not trying to stand up in front of anybody and speak. I was so shy. I was so nervous. Like, no, I'm not standing up in front of anybody. But that, in particular, being in the story time room, doing story time with the books, and then finally doing storytelling with the children. It kind of like removes some of the fear. It removes the fear, and you see that, oh, like I can do this. And that's really all you need to know. All you really need to realize is that I can do this. Like it's not really anything to be afraid of. I can do this. All I need to do is talk about things that I love and do it with passion, and they'll understand it and they'll receive it. And so even with moving this, even outside of being a storyteller, but maybe moving this into some of the work that you do. You know, if you have to do a project at the job, you know, a project at the library, if you put your own spin on it, like I was saying earlier, then you'll have more passion, and you'll have more passion and fervor when you're talking about it. And that comes across. Like everybody can feel it. Like, oh, like they must have spent a lot of time on it. They spent a lot of time on this presentation. Well, yeah, I spent a lot of time because it's something that I love to do. And I've done it before. I've stood in front of adults and children, and I've told stories. And so, of course, I can stand in front of you and tell stories. Everybody, especially when you're telling stories, like everybody you see, they become like children. They become childlike because the story element puts people in a calm state. It puts them in a calm state, and then so all of that fear that you used to have or may have, it goes away. It goes away. And so here are some of the benefits, okay, of telling stories, of at least learning one story. Again, you don't have to become a storyteller, but these skills that you learn from being a storyteller are the things that you want or that will propel you in life. One of the things, and we kind of talked about it, is confidence. It's confidence. You gain so much confidence when you are able to remove that fear of speaking in public. I mean, speaking in public really like shuts most people down. And so when you get that confidence that, hey, I can tell a story. Oh, so you need to do it. There needs to be a presentation. Well, hey, I'll do the presentation. Now opportunities open up for you. Opportunities open up everywhere. Opportunities for you to serve outside of what you normally do, because you're not afraid of situations. You conquered that fear of being afraid. So now you're not afraid of putting yourself in situations that are different than what you're used to. Opportunities open up where you can lead, opportunities to lead. And you'll say, well, hey, you know, I can speak up. I can speak up for the group here. A lot of people have great ideas, but a lot of people, they're afraid to speak up. But because you have told a story, you have learned a story, you have been through that activity of telling a story to an audience, it gives you the confidence to be able to step up and lead. Okay, opportunities. I'm gonna tell you this. I would have never thought I would be doing what I'm doing right now, which is leading a workshop at a conference. Okay. I've been working in libraries for 10 plus years now. And I used to see those emails come across with all of the different library associations and, hey, workshop, you know, submit a workshop. And they'd be like, delete, delete, delete. Like, no, like there's no way I'm going to get in front of a bunch of people and try to teach them or tell them anything. And now I've gotten to a point where I'm not afraid to do that. I'm not afraid to do it. And I'm pretty sure, and I hope that a lot of you will get to a point where you ought to tell at least one story so that you can see how far you can go after just telling a story, how far you can go after conquering a fear of public speaking. It opens up many doors, Also, after you have all these opportunities, you're able to get fulfilled. Now you're starting to feel fulfilled in the things that you do in your occupation, in your career, in your job. There's fulfillment there, where maybe you were just coming to work and all you're doing is, you know, replacing spine labels or you know, whatever it is you're doing It's monotonous. You're just sitting at the desk. You're just helping people with the computer. But now you're seeing the work that you do in a different light. How can I find a way to do what I'm doing, but to make it something that I love to do? What do I love about library work? What do I love about it? You start to ask yourself these questions and figure them out. And then you start to lean into that area. And so once you lean into that area, then you start to remember, you step out, you do more things, and you feel fulfilled. It's a wonderful thing to feel like you are making a difference. I feel like that's what all librarians want to do, right? At least that's what I want to do. Like, I don't just want to come to the building and like make sure they don't tear the building up, or just make sure that they're wearing their mask. I want to come to work and want to know that I'm making a difference in people's lives. My philosophy for librarianship is to empower people to be the best that they can be. That's my philosophy of librarianship. And so that's what I want to do. And that's how I look for and gain fulfillment. And so again, that's why I'm so happy that I learned how to tell stories and I learned to be a storyteller, because it just moved me and pushed me out of this space that I was in, this safe space that I just kind of really wasn't doing anything, but kind of felt like you could, but I wasn't doing anything. And so it pushed me out. It pushed me out and allowed me to go to different places. It gave me the confidence that I needed to do the things that I wanted to do, to find out, to seek out these opportunities, and to be fulfilled in what it is that I do. So I hope that you all will go out there and you will find stories. There is some resources on the document that I uploaded where you can go and find different stories. Of course, Jan Blake's information is on there, but you can find stories. Search anywhere, search everywhere. Don't pigeonhole yourself. You can find a story anywhere. If it's just a book that you just read, a picture book or whatever, storybook, or you can look on YouTube. Plenty of storytellers on YouTube. There are websites that are full of stories. Read those stories. Find ones that you love and look in different cultures. Don't try to stick to one culture or another. Look in different cultures, folk tales and fairy tales. Find your story. When you know that you love it, find it and then you practice it. You learn it, you practice it, and then you give it a try. And once you get through that process of telling the story, I'm telling you, you're gonna be in a different space. You're gonna know that you have a skill that sets you apart and that removes the fear of not knowing what to say. I found out that, since I've become a storyteller, that, if somebody were to ask me to come up and speak, I could get up there and I could speak. I could tell a story. I don't feel like I'm going to be caught unawares, if you're in a situation at work or wherever in life. So I hope that you all enjoy this workshop. I hope that you learned something. And I hope that I've been a benefit to you all. And I hope to see some of you leading workshops and conferences from here on out going forward. So thank you very much for having me, Southeast Collaborative Conference. Thank you very much for accepting my workshop proposal. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy all the rest of the courses, and y'all take care. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, John, for everything you've shared with us today. And thank you to everyone attending the webinar. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to the speaker or to us as conference hosts using the Whova app. An evaluation is provided with the conference session resources, and we welcome your feedback about the session and the conference. Thanks everyone for making the 2022 Southeast Collaborative Conference successful, and we will see you all next year.